So here we are, Corey Hayes on pole for Kart Sport. Xander Clements alongside. He got second in the pre-final. Michael Avancino there is in third. Andre Castro is fourth. Ian Bushy fifth. Corey Hyatt sixth, and the rest of the field filing their way onto the front stretch here with Corey Hyatt. And we're gonna look for the green. We get it. Hayes with a good jump there into turn one. Now as the rest of the field make their way through, so far so clean. Looking all the way through, one driver off in the grass.
Corey Hyatt goes off.
As they head their way here into turn number 3, Xander Clements going to get shuffled all the way back to 5th as Andre Castro and Michael Avancino make their way into 2nd and 3rd. Hayes getting a bit of a gap. Now as they make their way here into the hairpin, Clements goes to the inside of Ian Bushy. He's going to take back 4th. And now spaced out, 2nd and 3rd with a bit of a gap of their own. Farther on back to the field here, Corey Hyatt starting to make up some ground, getting by Florian Goddard, and now coming up to the back bumper, I believe that is Elliot Budzinski.
Yeah, I believe so. Makes the pass.
And so he'll go down the inside on the 91. And now Hyatt is up to 7th, starting to make his way back up through the field. As the rest of the field files on through, again behind Budzinski, there's Florian Goddard. He's going to make the pass on the 91. So a little more shuffling as we look farther back, and now back up through the field. Still a bit spaced out. Going up here to the battle for 2nd, Andre Castro has lost a little bit of ground to Michael Avancino. And Avancino has been very quick here with not a lot of practice in the 44 for Burrell Art Motorsport. Castro tries to reel him in there out of the last turn, and Hyatt there at the end of that screen, catching up to Ian Bushy.
Yeah, it looks like there's battles all over that. The 91. Oh, never mind. The driver behind the 91 actually spun.
As Budzinski went around there in turn 1, he's going to fall back a lot of spots. Andre Castro is now reeled back in. Michael Avancino, as they make their way through the sweeping right-hander that'll lead into the hairpin, and looking into the hairpin back to the battle for 5th. Corey Hyatt's going to make the pass on Ian Bushy. So Bushy back to 6th, slot Hyatt up into 5th. Hyatt was running top 3 in the pre-final until an early spin sent him back through the field, and he was not able to march his way that far up.
Hyatt.
Yeah, into the back of Hyatt there, so back goes Bushy. He's going to fall back to a battle with Florian Goddard. And meanwhile, up front, the battle for 2nd has heated up with Michael Avancino falling behind Andre Castro after they headed into the last turn. So now there's positions as they run for the top 5. Corey Hayes, Andre Castro, Michael Avancino, Xander Clements, and now Corey Hyatt. Looking into the hairpin here, Clements thought about a move, not going to do it. And so Michael Avancino is going to hold on to 3rd for the moment.
Yeah, it looks like the racing has died down here a little bit. We've got our own separated packs. It looks like Xander Clements is probably the most interesting battle on track right now, very close to Michael Avancino.
Avancino going to defend just a little bit here through turns 3, 3A and 3B really, as they make their way through the S's now in their setup turn before the hairpin. Clements has been content to stay behind. We'll see if he's going to make a move this time. And he will, down the inside. Avancino's going to get loose under braking, and here comes Hyatt looking to challenge for 4th.
Makes the move.
So slot Clements now up into 3rd, and the Kart Sport FAs have moved to 2nd and 3rd, slotting 2 spots on the podium, right behind Corey Hayes as Andre Castro trying to make up some ground on the leader. Looking at the lap times, last time by, Castro was roughly half a second quicker than Hayes, so a bit of a mistake, which is hard to find out of the number 11 Kart, but Hayes gave up a bit of ground there to Castro, and now Andre looking to capitalize here this lap.
looks like the last lap that we had, Andre was actually the fastest driver on track. However, Corey Hayes' lap time is still the fastest of the day at 46.913.
Looking farther back here, the battle from 6th all the way back to 9th has been heating up here between the number 51, I believe that is, of Alex Fraser.
Oh, and
the Tony Kart, he's going to go around after a bit of a bump before the corner before with Ian Bushy, maybe sent him a bit too much speed. Right as I said that there.
What is he doing?
Oh, hard to see here. Fraser obviously upset. And around goes Bushy off the curb here. These curbs are very treacherous. They're both going to try and get back going. Looking back up right in front of them was Philippe Denz. He has moved his way, Philippe Denz, all the way up into the 6th position after a starting spot in the back of the field from a pre-final incident that took him out of the running, and now trying to work his way up into a top 5 position. He has been very quick all weekend long, and now looking for some redemption here in the final.
Oh, Avancino upside down. What
oh, heartbreak for Michael Avancino over on his lid there in turn 1, and that is going to end his day. So he is going to be out of the running. He was having a good battle with Corey Hyatt for 4th place, and now Hyatt officially up into 4th with not a lot of pressure at the moment as Philippe Dennis looks to cross over Florian Goddard, and he's going to do so as Xander Clements gets sideways out of the hairpin. He loses a lot of time, so Hyatt up into 3rd, Denez into 4th, and Florian Goddard cracks the top 5 for the first time today. So again, a lot of shuffling that last lap. Hyatt here makes his way down the backstretch, and this all has given the leaders of Andre Castro and Corey Hayes a marginal gap over Hyatt, Denez, and Goddard.
Oh, and Florian Goddard actually gets loose off the first curb.
So he's going to go off. Clements is going to work his way around him. And now Clements trying to reel back in 3rd and 4th as he moves his way into 5th place. Goddard back to 6th. As we continue to watch here the battle for 3rd between Corey Hyatt and Philippe Denez.
Andre Castro and Corey Hayes are in a league of their own right now. They've checked out by almost 20 seconds, it seems like.
The biggest thing about them, they aren't that much faster than the rest of the field if you're talking hot laps, but they have been very consistent throughout the entire race, all about business and running very low 47s. I don't even know if either of them have cracked the 46.9s yet, which... to put that into perspective, our qualifying pole lap here was, I believe, a 46.6. And that's currently Corey Hyatt's fastest lap, but Hyatt obviously farther back after an earlier setback on the first lap. So back to the battle for 3rd here with Hyatt and Denez. They're going to go down the back straightaway here. Still a 4 to 5 kart length gap between the two. Clements starts to pull a bit of a gap back to Florian Goddard. Trying to get some insurance there so he can start to try and run down these two. And again, still here. Corey Hayes, Andre Castro not really losing or gaining any ground on each other of making the gap any larger or smaller, but very consistent. And Denez is going to go wide. That is going to cost him here into the last turn. And here comes Clements looking to capitalize down the front straightaway with a huge head of steam in the 36. And we'll see what he can do here down the backstretch, as now the gap 4 to 5 kart lengths has shifted between 3rd and 4th, now back to 4th and 5th. And we'll see if the two of them are going to try and work together to catch up to the 42, or if this could be it, and this will be the battle for the outside podium spot looking in. Either way, Corey Hyatt has just got himself a lot more comfortable position in the 3rd spot. Now Clements closing right up onto the bumper of Denez. Denez, the only driver here for J3 competition. Braden Eves and Brendan Baker unable to make the first race of the season, having to count that as share the drop, both in the Constructors' Cup and in the Drivers' Championship. And as I say that here, the J3 driver falling back to 5th with Clements making a move. And now they're going to try and work together to push their way up to the 42 of Corey Hyatt.
Now, as you say that, we've still got, what, 4 more rounds of racing after this, correct?
Yes, or 3 more rounds, and with 1 drop of your lowest total points from each event going to be dropped, or from 1 of the 4 events will be dropped for the best 3 counting towards the overall championship in this shortened season. And so it's going to make the points championship very tight, and it's going to mean that you're going to be very consistent and need to be consistent for those best 3 races, running up in the top 5 for all your results.
Yeah, and the next race at Genk will certainly be a thriller because that track has been notorious for good racing, as well as high kart count.
And both of which here we are seeing some great racing. Dines now back by Clements after Clements made a mistake in turn 1 and 2. And so that has let Dines on by, and he is going to take the 4th spot. Now Clements looking to see if he'll work with him, as the 98 did with the 36. Both of them at the moment running equivalent times that are roughly about the same, if not maybe a 10th quicker than Corey Hyatt, but right now not gaining a lot of ground on the 42.
We are on lap 15 of 20 right now. This final shaping up to be very decisive in the points championship. We still see that Corey Hayes and Andre Castro have not traded places at all this race.
Yeah, looking at the leaders, they've roughly stayed about the same gap. You know, last lap Castro hit a 46.97. This time by at a 47.05. And Corey Hayes with a 47.01. So both of them running laps within half a tenth of each other, very close, but hearing over the radio, Hayes having a bit of too much tape on the radiator at the moment, and so he can't take that off unlike in real life racing, and so because of that, he is weaving on the straightaway to try and get some more air over through the engine. Right now, Castro trying to follow him to get some more draft, but still, again, the gap not lengthening at all and not closing at all either.
Oh, going back to what happened to Xander Clements? Oh, he fell off the back of Philippe Dines. Tragedy for Xander.
Yeah, I believe he might have had a bit of another run-in with the curb as he did earlier, which sent him around. We didn't really get a good view at that, but so that is going to leave it to the 98 to hold on to 4th and try and run down the 42 of Corey Hyatt. We'll see what will happen late in the going here. We have 3 laps to go in this event, so not a lot of time left for the 98 to try and run down Corey Hyatt in the 42. But nonetheless here, a great drive from both of those guys from the back of the field. Hyatt being shoved wide in turn 1, and Dines starting all the way, I believe, right near last, if not dead last, in today's event. So a good drive from both of them now up into the top 5 and battling potentially for a podium spot.
Now keep in mind, we will have penalties assessed. I know that Alex Fraser has been going around the track and causing incidents which have been under the steward's review, as we've been told. But right now, I don't think that any of the top 4 have accumulated penalties, if not even the top 5.
Yes, I believe Castro was dinged for a wreck that happened earlier in the pre-final, but no wrecks have been at his fault here in the final. And as we look at them, we see a lap traffic that is the Tony Kart of the 91 of Elliot Badinsky for Kartworks USA, a team that he races for in real life, representing on the sim. And now Castro going to move on by. Badinsky goes around, couldn't hold it there through the chicane. Now as they come by the line here, the white flag is in the air for Corey Hayes. He's going to catch up to the lap traffic of Gresham Wagner. Wagner currently, I believe, in the 8th or 7th spot unofficially. Yes, 8th, I believe, behind Ian Bushy and behind Florian Goddard. And
it looks as if Philippe Dines, yeah, Corey Corey Hyatt dropped off about 7/10 that lap. Looks like Felipe Danez has actually closed that gap quite significantly.
So we're going to go back up to the leaders here to see Corey Hayes head to the final sector of the track. He maneuvers his way around Gresham Wagner and into the last turn for the 11 Ital Kart for Kart Sport, or Ital Kart Sport. Corey Hayes takes the win in round 1 in Suzuka. Andre Castro comes in second. In the battle for third, we are going to look at Corey Hyatt making his way out of the last turn.
He goes off!
And around he goes. The 42 of Corey Hyatt hops the curb and does a 360 spin that hands over the last podium spot to J3 competition driver Felipe Danez. And Hyatt falls back to 4th for Burrell Art Motorsport. Xander Clements is going to come across the line here in 5th. And Florian Goddard looking to finish home in 6th aboard his CRG. Ian Bushy comes home 8th. Gresham Wagner 7th. Elliot Budzinski, I believe, came home in 9th place unofficially, with Michael Avancino in 10th after that DNF. And hearing here from the steward's office, a disqualification for both Matt Keys and the number 62, who was disqualified on grid, and the number 51 of Alex Fraser with a disqualification. Now, a disqualified in the final will result at minimum of a 1-week suspension. We will be posted here, and you can check our press release after the race on our website, skwcracing.wix.com/home. For more info on that, as a press release will go up shortly. But unfortunately, at the moment here, all we know is that the 51 and the 62 will not be with us at Genk. However, if you're willing to join or wanting to join in on the fun, Genk, we are holding still open signups to join the KF Junior Series. This will be hosted Saturday, November 2nd, I believe, or November 1st. At Genk 2013 HD, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're moving off daylight savings, and that'll be all, folks. For Corey Hyatt and myself, Xander Clements, we're signing off, and hopefully we'll see you next week at Genk.